I'm reviewing this FEELNEEDY Smart Pet Water Fountain, and I've used water fountains before, but this one has a feature I really like, which is it is cordless, so I don't have to have it close to a spot where I have a cord to plug into the wall, which is actually really nice. It's a big capacity, and it's filtering like most of the others are, of course. So, and it also has a sensor that you can turn on or off, whether it will turn on if it detects like movement coming up to it, so it doesn't have to run all the time to save batteries. And I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to set it up and use it with my animals for about a week and just kind of see how it does in that week that I'm using it. But first I'm just going to go through an opening and just kind of see. Here's the it's like the fountain spout, and there's metal, and that's soft rubber. There's a little book, a couple little books. One talks about how to help it if it stops working and there's noise or water flow issues, and it's basically looks like it's telling you what needs to be cleaned with the pump area and different things. And a little QR code to go to their site probably. This is the actual manual. A lot more in here, and I'll go over this when I set it up and report back how it basically, but it's pretty extensive, but there's a lot of languages in here, so it may not be, but just looking at it quickly, it looks like it's pretty well written, but I'll go over that after I use it for a while. Got the actual reservoir, and then you have the actual little filters, and that's pretty much all that is in there. So you got these filters, and like a lot of these I've used different shapes and sizes. It just goes in a certain spot to filter the water. These look like filters, I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like the filters you would use in the pump area to keep the pump from clogging. So I've used these before, but not near this nice of one. At least I hope it's nice. I got the stainless one. I don't know if it's real stainless or not, but we'll see how it does. It's got this little main dish where the water would sit, and it's pretty shallow, which I like. So my other one's like a deep was a reservoir. Okay. Pump's right here. It's just attached right here. And then the spout would go in there, it looks like. Pretty straightforward. The electronics part, which is another thing I like about it. The electronics part is going to be on the outside of the unit, away from the water. More filters inside of here, along with one more filter that actually is in the filter pack here, that you actually put the filter, it looks like these filters inside of this, to put inside of probably, and there's what I'm thinking, but you'd have to put it in, take it out of this and put it in there, but I'll figure that out later too. USB cable to charge it. It's like a USB-C, standard USB-C, and a little cleaning brush to clean the motor, which is a really good idea. And this is the actual electronics part. And a little spot on the back for the charging. The battery is in there. And then the sensor is right here to tell the water to turn on and off. So I'll figure out how all this works, how it goes in, and how it activates. And you can see inside of here there's actually some little metal that the metal on this would touch when it goes in, so that's nice. There's no wires to attach. It'll just be, as soon as you get it the two spots made it up, it'll function that way. So that's a really good idea. And then the reservoir itself with, also really nice, a little clear opening that shows you maximum, minimum. And it is a really big reservoir, which is really nice because I had one that's kind of small when I had a good number of animals around in the house in the past. It goes through it really fast and starts gurgling. But this is a really big one. It's all metal, looks really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this for about a week and see how it does. Little rubber feet there, and I'll report back what I think about it. I think it's going to be great, but you never know until you use it. I'm using the water fountain for about a week now, and here are my general impressions on it and what I think about the functionality. The only button that you need to worry about to press is the button on the outside here. This one actually tells you whether the battery is low. This one right here tells you that the filter needs to be changed. This one tells you it's in the 15 minutes, and then it runs for 15 seconds mode every 15 minutes. This one is the motion sensor, and if you want it to run continuously, you're going to have it plugged in to a power outlet or a USB outlet, but you will need to provide the brick. It only provides you like with a USB-C and a USB-A cord ends, but that's only it'll run in continuous mode. And when you press it, it always starts out in the motion mode. You hit it again, and it would go to the either continuous, or every 15 minutes it'll go 15 seconds mode, or continuous if it's plugged in. So it does go 5 feet with the sensor at about 120 degree angle. I checked that. It does work that way. One nice thing is that if the water is empty in this, then it won't run. The pump won't run. The other ones I've used, if the water runs low, the pump just keeps running. It never stops, which is annoying because in the middle of the night or when you come home, it's gurgling water, and the pump is just running continuously for no reason at that point. But this one shutting off is really nice. And I'm going to show you one nice feature that I really like by dimming the lights. Okay, so when it's running and there is water, and I've got enough water in here, if I tilt it back, that the pump will get enough water to think there's enough water to run. So I turn it back and you can see the little fill glass, the light inside of it turns blue. That means should be enough water in here normally for it to run. Because I have it tilted back, it's just tricking it into thinking there's enough. But it'll be blue. But if you go and run out of water, I go forward now with it, it'll go red. So blue means there's water to run it. Red means there's not water to run it. So that is a really nice feature because you can see that in a lit room during the day or at night easily. So that's a really great feature. So I'm going to bring the lights back up now. I'm going to go ahead and add water so you can see it function. You can just pull the whole thing off like that to add water. I'm going to add 8 cups of water is what I got. And it will hold more than 8 cups, but that's just what I got. Put it in there right now. You can see where the line is. So it'll hold 3, 4, 5 more cups of water. I think it says 3.5 liters what it'll hold. And you can see that the pump here, and there's the light that tells you that shines inside. Here's the pre-filter right here that you would replace on this. And then to put it on, there's 2 notches in the back. You may be able to see them, one there, one there. You want to get the back of this with the pump lined up right into that slot. If you don't, then it'll move around. So what you want to do is get it to where it won't move in those slots, and then it'll work perfectly. Now when you first put it in, sometimes with no water, you may have to pull this out for a minute to let the pump easily prime by going through here instead of the fountain mode, it's in the bubble up mode. Then you can put this in and it'll start running. That's only when you initially change the water out or add more water. Sometimes it'll do that, but not every time. So it fills up, gets to the overflows, goes over, and I've only have one cat that is fascinated with water that continually sticks his paw into this water and is just fascinated by it and just watches it. Not a big deal. If it was a big deal, I could just pull this out and let it do the bubble over mode. Now, this is a relatively shallow pool that it sits in, which is good on the one hand because it sits up to where I've had, and I have another one of, not these, but another water fountain for cats that has a deep well of water, and the cats can reach the actual reservoir that's in the water, and some of them just love to slap the water and splash it everywhere. This one, they really haven't done it at all because it sits up and it's more shallow, so it doesn't really entice them really to slap their hand deep in the water, so that's really nice. But one thing about this is if the power goes out, and by power goes out I mean if the battery runs out, and let's say you're gone overnight and you left the water out for the cats and enough food for the next day, only water they're going to have access to is this. And that's pretty shallow. I'll show you that you can empty this really quick. And then one cat, two cats, three cats, they're going to go through that in no time. It would not be enough water to last them like overnight. And if you're trying to use this for a dog, I would definitely say no, because it's just not deep enough for a dog to use. It's really best for cats. So if you're going to go overnight somewhere, then I would definitely, and I always do anyway, no matter what kind of a water fountain I use, I always put out regular bowls of water, more than I think they will need, because I would rather them not run out of water. Food's one thing, you put enough of that out. Water, that's a critical thing. So just keep that in mind. But it does have little rubber feet on the bottom, which keeps it from moving around. I mean, it really is solid. That's really nice. Some of the other ones that I have don't have that, and they get knocked around by the cats. This one has really, you can see it's flapping it really good. It has really good rubber feet that keep it from being moved around, which I really like. So charging it's super easy. Just pull this off, plug it in, or you can actually just plug it in while it's still attached. The filter part is just inside of here. You can see that I've been using it and it's dirty. When you want to do it, you pull it out, put the new filter inside this casing, and then put the whole casing with the filter back in. Easy enough. Stick that back on. And there you go. Just make sure you change that pre-filter on the pump at the same time if it needs it, and it probably will. So overall, I really, really like this water fountain. It's one of the best I've ever used, best I've ever come across. I really don't find any faults with it as far as what it's supposed to do, which is provide moving water for your cats to entice them to drink more. And maybe it's supposed to soften the water too, and some other things. But I just like the fact that it moves and it filters the water and it holds so much water. So I really don't see any reason not to recommend this. I think it's a really great product.
There's literally nothing. Everything, the hair, the dirt, everything goes right by that filter and straight into the bottom. It's terrible. And then the whole design with this water spout is horrible. So you've got the pump, and it just sticks into this open plastic tube. And then you put these together. That never likes to sit flat. And then you have this metal spout and a rubber piece with a little notch on it. So these have to sit, you have to push this rubber thing up on the metal, and it has to sit flush. And then you push this into that open plastic tube. I'm pushing pretty hard, it doesn't want to go down. Get that to focus. There's always a gap right here. There's always a gap. It's barely watertight. And that just really frustrates me so much. And then again, you can refill this without taking that apart. You can just lift this up. But to get to that filter, you have to take this out every single time. And then the pump has an auto shut off, which is cool, except it shuts off at the top here. As soon as the water gets down to about here, it'll auto shut off. So you're losing about 2.5 inches of water. And it's kind of a lot. It'll just shut off and it won't pop up any more water. It's horrible. I will say one positive thing is that this motion sensor actually works pretty cool. That's the only nice thing about this. here's the main thing. This thing is rusting already. This is supposed to be stainless steel. I paid like $45 for 2 of these, so it was like, I'm like $90 in for 2 of them. Look at that. Let's see if I can get this to focus. That's not dirt, that's rust. There's orange spots all over it. There. On the inside too. See that? See that orange? That is not dirt. It's all over on the inside. This is only a month old. On the bottom here, this looks like dirt. This looks like dirt, but it's not. See all that orange? That's perfect. You can see it right there. This is literally a month old, and it's stainless steel. So, junk. This has so many reviews. It has like 3,000 reviews, so I thought it'd be decent, but no. Terrible. So if you ignore the fact that this is rusting, like let's pretend this isn't rusting at all, this would be decent if you only had a cat. And if you have a dog, I would 100% never, ever buy this. Because dogs are way dirtier, and the filter doesn't work at all. So cats are a little bit cleaner, so they don't necessarily need the filter. But the whole reason I bought this was to give my animals fresh water, fresh, clean water. And I'm past my return window. Do not buy this. FEELNEEDY. Horrible product.
Boy, you're finally using your water fountain. Good boy, Thor. That's a sensor.
Bravo, eh? Oh, l'oggetto misterioso ti piace, eh? Bravo. Eh? È buona l'acquetta. Non hai mai bevuto così tanto in vita tua, eh? Bravo.
Leo che beve dalla sua nuova fontanella. Mettiamoci pure la zampetta. Ti piace la fontanella, Leo? Sì, adesso io non mi schiedo da qua. Sembrano le fontanelle delle aziendali. Leo, ti piace la fontanella? Leo? Io vado a controllare.
Mais perché?
Je ne comprends pas. Pourquoi commencerait-il par une démonstration? Le fait est que mon objectif n'est pas de gagner. D'élever le monde du blading et de le guider vers le futur. Gagner ou perdre, peu importe. Cependant, je finis par gagner parce que je suis le plus rapide. Je voudrais faire
Il y a chaque une nouvelle fontaine. Non, il est tombé en panne. Non, il est tombé en panne, là, Mylène en a recommandé une high-tech. Ah bah je...
conclama su di lui, questa cosa che nel fondo si guadagna calcio d'angolo, la chiusura.